Oh, so beautiful and so perfect for today. And these past 2 Sundays, as everyone here knows, we've been looking at this Easter month as an opportunity for us to turn our full focus and awareness to the Christ, to the love of God, to the peace of God, to the joy of God, that not only fully expressed through Jesus as he walked the earth, but lives in us as our potential to express today as we walk the earth. Yet the appearance of Christ on earth didn't begin with Jesus. The one high, holy, spiritual, vibrational creation of God. The atmosphere and energy of love has been present on earth since the earth was created. And the earth has been celebrating its divine energy of perfect life ever since. Though all the seasons of nature have their own special beauty and energy to celebrate, it seems like Mother Nature herself sings her happiest song in the spring. And it seems that all of nature, all the trees, the flowers, the animals, all living things, including we human living things, can't help but dance to her music in our hearts. The Southern poet Sidney Lanier wrote, "Music is love in search of a word." Spring has been celebrated around the world since the world began. And it's been recorded for eons. For example, a spring festival in China that's still celebrated today originated in the Shang Dynasty in 1600 BC to 1100 BC. Its celebration of springtime and all the symbols of spring often look a little like an Easter parade. And as many of us know, Easter itself didn't begin with Christianity. It predates Christianity. That it began as a pagan celebration of the spring equinox, and it honored the goddess of spring, Istra. She was associated with rabbits and eggs that symbolized fertility and new beginnings. As Christianity began to sweep Europe, many pagan festivals and celebrations were absorbed and adapted into the Christian faith, including rabbits and eggs at Easter. For many around the world, Easter is still a celebration of spring's arrival rather than a religious observance. It's cherished as a time of renewal and new life, and a celebration of all of the good things that springtime brings to our experience after a long, cold, dormant winter. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "In spring, the earth laughs in flowers." Today, this Easter Sunday, is a beautiful time for us to laugh. It's the perfect time for us to feel the energy of joy within us and feel it all around us, because it's always here for us to feel. It's a time to celebrate Christ, especially the joy of God that Christ is. It springs forth through all of nature, and it arises in us, not just in the spring, but anytime and in every moment that we allow it to. Even though it's essential for us to know that the same Christ that fully expressed through Jesus and allowed him to perform all manner of miracles is the same Christ that lives in us right now and has that same power. It's important for us to recognize that Christ never was and isn't now limited to a human form. The Christ expresses through humans, but Christ isn't a person. Christ is the pure, positive, spiritual, vibrational energy of love, born of God, that flows through everything. It's everywhere. The Christ flows through all that exists in the universe, including you and me and all that we see. The universal Christ, the one Christ, isn't limited to or limited by any form it takes. Christ is the very presence of God, the source of all, that is behind and beneath and within every form and expression, or else that form or expression could not manifest physically. In the Lambda Bible, we read, "I can do all things through Christ who empowers me," including manifest a physical form. The light of Christ, the energy of Christ, empowers us to do all things. Because without Christ in us, we could do nothing, not even breathe. Christ is the being that is alive in us, our true self, the one we cannot live for one moment without. The second coming of Christ occurs in every moment. We realize that that's true. Of all of the nature that proliferates the earth, of all the creatures that walk upon the earth, only we humans deny the Christ in us through our belief in our unworthiness, through our judgments of ourselves and each other, through our belief in struggle and punishment, and through our unwillingness to change our mind about any of it. In the way of the heart, we read these words of Joshua or Jesus. When you no longer have any conflicted commitment in your beingness, you will know exactly what the result of my life was for me, because you will be that. When we talk about the Christ in us, it isn't a religious thing. It's a spiritual thing. We are spiritual beings right now. Christ is that spirit that we're being. We are vibrational energy, beings of love, living in the spiritual vibrational energy field of love that exists within the universe. Love is all that's going on. Love is life. And love is more or less present everywhere. The amount of love we're aware of, wherever we are, in any moment, depends on how much of it we allow to be present as us in that moment. Eckhart Tolle wrote, "In the stillness of your presence, you can feel your own formless and timeless reality as the unmanifested life that animates your physical form. To know yourself as the being beneath the thinker, the stillness underneath the mental noise, the love and joy underneath the pain, is freedom, salvation, and enlightenment." But we've got to tune in and tap into that energy that is us, so that we can be turned on by the one that we are. And when we're turned on, we're empowered to live as we're created to live in every moment, in peace, in joy, in love. Which brings us to the title of today's talk, Rabbit Ears. Now, I'm going to explain. Reverend Kim, every year since I've known her, has worn bunny ears on Easter. This is the first year she didn't do it, and this is the first year I talked about it in my talk. So, as a favor, I got my bunny from my Easter altar that Grateful Gem has made for me, and she's playing with it. And that said, the bunny ears she's exhibiting are not the rabbit ears that I'm going to be talking about this morning. And now you can do whatever you want with that bunny. I'm going to talk about the rabbit ears antenna that most of us would remember sat on top of our television set in our early days of watching television. And even today, some people use rabbit ear antennas to get local broadcasts for free. And that page likes this page so much. Okay. Now, if you remember that the rabbit ear antenna was connected to the TV's antenna input. And it allowed the TV to display the received over-the-air broadcasts. It consisted of two extendable rods connected at the base and formed a V. Really didn't look much like rabbit ears. It acted as a receptor for the radio waves that carry TV signals. And the rods could be adjusted to optimize the signal reception. By adjusting the length, the direction of the rods, we could fine-tune the antenna to receive the strongest signals. You're getting the metaphor, but I'll continue. But until we adjusted that antenna in the direction that would give us a strong signal, or even a close to a strong signal, things were pretty fuzzy and unclear. And sometimes so full of static, we couldn't recognize anything at all on the TV screen. In the same way, we are all receivers in this world with the capacity of receiving powerful signals from the energy field of love that is everywhere. In order for us to know ourselves as the being underneath the thinker, the stillness underneath the mental noise, the love and joy beneath the pain, and to live as often as we can as that being on earth. We must have the rabbit ears antenna of our mind adjusted just right, so we're able to receive a strong signal within us. A signal from our own formless and timeless reality that is the unmanifested Christ that animates our physical form. If we're not aware that we are more than what we see and seem to be, then we believe that we're alone and on our own and separate. And we try to figure out life. We wonder what it's all about, and we wonder why we can't figure it out and why we can't live a life that we enjoy living every day. When we believe we're alone and on our own, when we believe that this is all there is to us, we're not in touch with our spiritual guidance that is there to guide us to that life that is joy in every moment. Eckhart Tolle wrote, when you lose touch with your inner stillness. You lose touch with yourself. When you lose touch with yourself, you lose yourself in the world. Every moment, our inner being is sending a signal to us from beneath the mental noise and static caused by our focus on this manifested world that is often so full of conflict and so much contrast that it causes anger. When we adjust our mental antenna inward, we clear up the noise. We clear up the misconceptions of who we truly are and what life is for. We clear up the untruths about ourselves, the untruths about each other that have been interfering with our own reception of the energy waves of love, the Christ in us. In every moment, the universal Christ is broadcasting to us from within the energy field of this universe of love. We read in the way of the heart, each sane moment that you have experienced, each moment of limitedness, each moment of genuine intimacy, each moment of grace-filled joy that you have ever known, in whatever form it seems to appear, has come because you have allowed your mind to slip into the sea of peace. There you have merely abided, empty, wanting nothing, seeking nothing, being merely the presence of what you are. When that quality becomes cultivated so that it permeates your consciousness each moment, you will know that Christ has indeed arisen this day. And you will celebrate Easter with each breath. Namaste.